Okay, we're going to do the fretboard replacement for a World Tour guitar for Wii. So we look at the selection guide and see that the GH04 is the right board for this. So we get the GH04 board. First thing we need to do is turn the guitar over, unlock the neck, separate it. You'll need a couple of tools. You'll need a T10 Torx wrench, Phillips screwdriver, of course the board, soldering iron, and a little bit of solder. We start by taking out the 11 screws, which I've already done to save time. Pop the back off. You can set that aside. 2 ribbon cables, the connector, which is loose. We just need to make sure that it doesn't cover any of these holes. Grab a Sharpie or some other, mark these in such a way that you won't forget where they go or what direction they go. In this case, I'm pointing the arrows towards the outside of the guitar. The Phillips screwdriver and remove the screw. Only one screw on this particular guitar. And lift out the old circuit board, the membrane switch, and expose our buttons. Now to replace the board, the easiest way I've found is to push gently on the board with one set of fingers and pull a little bit, and then just kind of heat up all 3 pins at once. Let's see if it's going to cooperate with me. There we go. And do the same thing here. They tend to come out pretty straight and clean. I'm just going to heat them up one time to get any extra solder off. And the reason I mark them this way is if I don't see the marks, I know they're upside down. And if I see the marks, I don't want them this way. Now, as you saw before, the wires were coming in from the top of the board. This is just hot glue. The new board goes in like so. It won't fit with the buttons. And we'll take a look at that here in just a second. So if we look at the current board, you can see how thin it is compared to this board. The switches stick out considerably farther, and so we have to relieve the back of these buttons in some way to make up for that additional space. So as it is, it won't fit. So I'm just going to take these out for now. And now with the circuit board in the proper direction, I'm going to route these wires in the bottom. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. See, the only difference is now they come in from the bottom of the board instead of the top. Soldering these, just want to be quick application of heat and then get out of Dodge. Come on. Seriously, I've been doing this and getting nothing but trouble. All right, this one. This one, this one. Perfect. I recommend taking some sort of magnifier, making sure that everything looks good. And those look beautiful. I'm not going to bother with the hot glue on the bottom. That board will go right there. Now the trick is, how much button do we need to remove? And there was a couple of ways to figure that out. First is to just put some buttons in, set this on, and look sideways. And just try and see just how far away you are from seating. In this case, I'm guessing a good 4 millimeters. Another option is a little 3D printable button that I made that will fit in. If I can turn it the right way. I can test it so that it feels right. That feels very good. I can move that centerpiece in and out if I want. And then all I have to do is measure, roughly 4.5 millimeters. So that means I need to take 4.5 millimeters off the back side of this button. And one thing that I found with these buttons, my first design versus the second design, you'll notice the first design is the same thickness. A little different on the bottom. There's different versions of different insets. This at 4 millimeters, the body of the switch will actually bang into the inside of here. So I shortened it up 2 millimeters. Top geometry is the same, so it's about 2 millimeters shy. And that should be what we need. Perfect. So I will print up 4 more of those. It's a 4.5 millimeter setback, and it feels really nice. Well, it took me a couple of tries, but I finally got my buttons printed. And I'll tell you what, my gray filament just seems to do a much better job than the black filament. But nonetheless, buttons are done. Put them in. Lift this up a little bit so the buttons aren't being pressed. This little piece of plastic often falls out. It only goes in one way. Board goes down. Screw gets attached. And when driving screws in plastic, always turn them backwards first until you hear you'll feel a little click, and then it's ready to go in forward. That way you don't have to thread new holes. Line up the connector. Make sure that the cable is not blocking any of these holes. Pop the back on. Reinsert all 11 screws. Using the Torx T10 wrench. Also available from my website on HobbyCNC. Oops, turn it backwards first till you feel it little click. You can even hear it maybe. Turn it backwards a little bit. I didn't hear it, but I felt it. See if we can hear this one. There we go. That was a good one. We are all back together again, and I wish I played Guitar Hero well enough as some of these other folks, but I can barely pass on medium. So there you go, completely done, ready to go. Guitar Hero fretboard replacement.